Here, king of auto parts. When I need a break from making auto parts for the American working man, because that's what I am and that's who I care about, I like to spend it catching up on sporting events, and I get all my sporting news from Belly Up Sports. They have fantastic articles and podcasts covering sports for an American working man just like me, and that's why I like Belly Up Sports, and you should too. So go check them out at bellyupsports.com.
Baseball and Whatever with your host, Justin McElwee.
Because I was on campus and I had to appear like I was one of the cool kids, I would put the Star Wars book inside one of my textbooks so it looked like I was just studying for class.
All right, look. There's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Vincent Francis Jankowitz IV.
I'm a glorified fact checker.
Last I checked, the most runs in a game wins.
Actually, I am a fact checker.
And Greg Probst.
If you look at most Bond fans movie rankings, they have Casino Royale and Majesties in their top two. For me, these actually rank in the bottom part of my list. I mean, I love them, but they don't compare to Diamonds Are Forever.
Now stop getting Bond wrong!
Happy Friday, everybody. This is Baseball and Whatever. We are at episode 51. This week we have plenty to talk about. I'm Justin. There's Vinnie. There's Greg. We are going to discuss the hot starts by both the Cubs and White Sox. I think we were surprised by one of them. I'll let you decide which one that is. And then it has actually been exactly on the day that you're listening to this, if it's Friday, April 15th, it has been 1 year since we got ourselves into this crazy podcast game. So we're going to recap, review, be a little nostalgic on some of the things we've enjoyed so far. We might even play a few clips here and there. Maybe one from our very first episode, and you can hear just how different Greg and I sound. And we will go from there. So
I would just like to clarify that that's the audio quality and difference. The stupidity has not changed.
No. Yeah. The level of stupidity that you come to our show for is only going to get higher. I would say it's not going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Mm-hmm. So if you are listening to us for the first time, thank you very much for finding us. We are Baseball and Whatever. We are primarily Chicago based, so we do a little Cubs talk, little White Sox talk, maybe little Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears. And also sports just around the country. We like to dive into a variety of different teams. And then after that, we switch to our whatever topic where we might talk about music, video games, other podcasts. We might interview other people, whether it's actors, famous directors, writers, editors. We do Star Wars, James Bond, Marvel, DC, movies, pop culture, all the above. So if you are a fan of something, chances are we've done an episode about it. So check out our backlog if you like. There's also multiple ways to get a hold of us on the show. You can email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com, or our official Belly Up Podcast Network email is baseballandwhateverpodcast@bellyupsports.com. You can text us or call in to our voicemail line, which is 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FART. Dynamite drop in, Vinny. You can also tweet us at Baseball and What. That is probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. We have surpassed over 500 followers, which if you would have told me that 1 year ago, 500 people would care enough to follow us on Twitter, I would have said, you're crazy. We are nobodies. We still are nobodies, but
we still are. And it took a while to get that first couple followers,
yeah,
I think, but 500 now? Hey, I don't know what you're following, but
yeah, keep it up. Thank you for following. You can also reach us on Instagram at Baseball and Whatever, or Facebook.com/Baseball and Whatever. I think that's all the different ways you can get a hold of us. We like to start off our show doing a little look back historically on people that wore the number of the episode we are. So we're at episode 51. So let's think about some Chicago athletes that wore 51. The only one for the Hawks I can think of is the one and only mighty Jeff Hamilton.
Was he that goon?
No.
Okay,
he was a dude. Else. He was shorter than me. He was a career minor leaguer. When the Hawks were horrible, they called him up, and he was actually their power play quarterback. And he was awesome for like a month stretch. And then you never heard from him again. He could be digging ditches in Kuala Lumpur right now. I don't know what he's doing. I just remember whenever he would score a goal, the Hawks would cut to the Jumbotron and they would play from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. All right, Hamilton. It was Spicoli, right? Yeah. So that's the only one I can think of for the Hawks. The only other one I could think of for the Cubs was I just lost it. So I'm gonna.
I didn't have
now.
any for the Cubs. I could not think of one single freaking person.
Oh, reliever and sometimes starter. He never was really that good, in my opinion. Juan Cruz. Super skinny guy.
I remember Juan Cruz. Yeah, that's
and
right.
I think he was a Pirate maybe or a Rocky at some point too. I don't know, but
that's a good call. I did not have him.
Those are the only ones I could think of. So I don't know, Vinny, Greg, whoever wants to inform me of the other ones, go for it.
I have some White Sox that I know. What'd you say, Vinny?
I'll let you go first, Greg.
Okay. For the White Sox, I have my man Alex Rios.
Oh,
I was at the game where he hit the walk-off grand slam. That was a pretty fun moment to see that. Carson Fulmer, he was kind of crap. Those are the days when Fulmer and Anderson were our top prospects. Luckily, one of those guys panned out because it wasn't looking good. 51. I don't know, you guys are not Sox fans, so you guys don't remember Andrew Sisco. There was a lot of potential around him, but
was he a pitcher?
Worked out. He was a pitcher. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Ryan Tepera last year. I don't think we
Former Cub.
I don't think we have a 51 this year.
Is he on the roster this year or no?
No, he's on the Angels.
Oh, I didn't even know he got.
He got lit up. He got lit up a couple days ago, I think. So, 51. Anyone else? No one else is coming to mind for the White Sox. You got anyone else, Vinny?
Yes. White Sox, Dane Dunning.
Oh, of course, Dane Dunning. Yeah.
Kyle Drabeck.
Doug Drabeck's son, I believe, right?
Yeah, I remember the name. Remember him on the Blue Jays. I forgot
Blue
he was on the White Sox. It didn't last long.
Mike Bertotti?
No.
95 to 97?
No.
Nope. Jason Beer?
Jason Beret.
Jason Beret. Oh, another Cub and White Sox.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jason Beret, once again, has been on every team or every Chicago.
He was one of my favorite pitchers when I was a White Sox fan as a little kid. I don't know why, but he was.
Well, Cub, White Sox. He was always like a 49, though, wasn't he? Or something?
Yeah, I think so.
He's worn like 7 different jersey numbers, and 51's apparently one of them. So,
yes, it is.
Anyone else in the 2000s? Just out of curiosity.
Michael Taylor.
Oh, I remember him. Center fielder. Didn't stick around. Not Michael A. Taylor. This is a different Michael Taylor.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, different guy.
Luis Vizcaino.
Yeah, pitcher.
Yep.
John Rauch.
Oh, John
he
Rauch.
was a tall, lanky dude,
that guy's
right?
a 7 foot, like 300-pound hurler.
Strange dude, yeah.
That was it for 2000s.
Okay. Forgot about John Rauch. Nationals, nice. I think. He was on the Nationals.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Go ahead, Vinny.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say for the Bears, I just know the obvious one.
Urlacher.
No, Dick Butkus.
Butkus. Urlacher's 54. 54. Sorry.
For sure.
I'm gonna pull away my Chicago fandom card. It's gonna get taken away.
That's all I had for 51's retired for Butkus, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah.
It retired. It must have been after 93 because the last person to wear it was on the 85 championship team, Jim Morrissey or Morrissey.
Oh, okay.
Morrissey.
The name. Morslaw.
Right.
Maybe he's French.
I have one for the Bulls. You guys are gonna remember this name. Oh God, can I even say it? Ryan Arcidiacono or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Arcidiacono.
That's right.
He was more recent too. He was like on the Bulls last year, wasn't he?
I think so, because I remember his name was so long. They had to like arch it over the back of the uniform jersey. Yeah.
Right. That's all. I think that's all I have. I can't think of another 51.
There's only
Ichiro, famous 51. Bernie Williams.
Michael Ruffin for the Bulls and Lawrence Funderburk.
That's a name.
Okay.
Yeah, 2005. So
interesting.
Speaking of the Bulls, they're screwed.
Yeah, well, we can get into that.
Yes.
Justin for the Blackhawks, Ian Mitchell.
Yes, he is down in Rockford this season. He was a casualty of Stan Bowman calling up prospects that weren't ready yet just to keep his job a little bit longer. So, yes, he is down in Rockford. But, yes, you're right. He was 51.
Brian Campbell.
Oh, God. How the hell did I forget Brian Campbell?
I have no idea.
I suck.
You do suck.
For multiple reasons. But that's one of them.
Man.
Awful. Absolutely awful. And you forgot probably one of your favorite players, maybe Jeremy Roenick.
I didn't even. Oh, okay. That must have been his rookie year before he switched to 27.
He was 27. Yeah, wasn't he?
Yeah,
okay.
That was his heyday. And then when he went to Philly, he became 97. Okay, that must have been like his first year in the late 80s, early 90s with the Hawks. I did not know that. Very cool.
I did not know that either. Cool.
Awesome.
Hey, for the Cubs, there's a big list here. Sergio Alcantara.
That's the guy now. Or
that's the
guy that they traded, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Arizona.
Because there was another Alcantara that I think got arrested recently, but it wasn't that guy that used to be on, like, probably about 15 years ago was on the Cubs, 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dwayne Underwood Jr.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Know the name.
51. Ryan Kalish.
I remember him. He was a bench
Remember
guy.
that name?
Yep. Steve Clevenger.
Oh, God. I remember really being on the Clevenger bandwagon, and then nothing happened when he left the Cubs.
Nope. Brian Schlitter.
Oh, God.
I remember the name.
I remember the name. He was a pitcher, right?
Yeah. Pitched like Schlitt.
Well done.
Juan Mateo. Name rings a bell, but
yeah.
No.
Terry Adams.
There you
go.
go.
Wow. I remember Terry Adams from the 90s.
Terry Adams.
90s, yeah.
There we go. There's a guy from
Starting
the 90s
pitcher.
I know that was, I keep wanting to say Terry Mulholland, but it's not Terry. It's the other guy, Terry Adams. So another bad Terry.
Then we have Heathcliff Slocum.
Oh, yeah. He was a reliever.
91.
Oh, I don't remember him.
He was on, I want to say he was maybe on Texas too for a while. I remember him on a couple teams, maybe Florida. I remember him being on.
What year?
91 to 93.
Oh, well, you're
I want to say
he
he went to the Marlins maybe in 94. I could be wrong. 95. I could be wrong, but something like that.
Oh, that name does not ring a bell. Good job.
I just remember the orange cat cartoon that was on Nickelodeon was Heathcliff, which I think was just a ripoff of Garfield. You tell me you're going to make an orange cat cartoon and it's not based on Garfield? Come on.
Yeah.
What was his specialty? Goulash or something?
He wasn't so grumpy. I remember him being more upbeat. So I don't know, but it's neither here nor there.
Yep, that's it for the Cubs. Yeah.
All right.
There are 51s.
Well, we got some great stuff for our listener comments in our text line. I really appreciate that Greg has started using our text line as his stream of consciousness as he's watching Sox games, and our voicemail for when he's watching Sox games as well. What do you want to start with, Vinny? Do you want to start with his text, or should we start with his voicemail?
I'll start with the text.
Okay.
This is during the game. He was live texting the text line at 3:34 p.m. Fucking hell, Liam was the text. That must have been during the 8th inning when he gave up.
Was that the first blow up or the second?
That was
one?
the 8th inning. I was listening in my car because I was ready to go to Woodman's, but I wanted to hear the end of the game. So I'm just sitting in there, just screaming my head off.
Oh, I've never,
Anger.
we'll get to the voicemail. I told Erica, I've never heard Greg angry. You were legitimately angry. It sounded like
baseball brings out the worst in me.
Apparently.
We'll say that it does.
And then 10 minutes later at 3:43, or I guess that's 9 minutes later. I can't do math.
Wait, aren't you an accountant?
Close enough.
Yeah, well, you don't have my calculator.
Okay.
Bullpen my fucking ass, all in capital letters. So that must have been the end of the game, or just about the end of the game, when they were waiting for the review to come back that
from A.J. Pollock. Yeah.
The run scored, and then it followed up with the voicemail from Greg, and didn't overreact at all to the first game in a 162 game season.
But yes, and I will say we as kind of a joke, because we found it more funny to censor it. We censored Greg's voicemail just as a joke. So
it needed to be censored. We'd probably be kicked off of Spotify for how.
Yeah, probably. All right, here we go.
Best bullpen, my ass. What an absolute embarrassment and disgrace it is to be a Chicago White Sox fan. I am sorry. That is despicable. That is sickening. That is pure from Liam Hendricks. Pure. That was a great effort by A.J. Pollock to catch that. It wasn't. Unfortunately, didn't go that way. But he's the best player on the team as of right now.
No, he's
Everyone
not.
else can't do especially those idiots in the bullpen. Bunch of boobs. Bunch of old, wrinkly, saggy to the knees, 100-year-old boobs.
And then this was voicemail number 2.
Liam Hendricks, again, giving up the f***ing home runs in the 9th inning to some f***ing dickbag backup catcher who couldn't hit He fell in the toilet. Now he gives up the f***ing triple in the corner. This another lost, blown save. Damn it. It's kangaroo.
That's my favorite one. We don't need to get into what you said.
We won't share that. I remember what I said. I won't repeat it. But
that's a good term. Not gonna lie. I
was infuriating. I know it's only one game, but it's just the way it happened.
First game of the season out of 162, Greg.
It's the way they lost. You can't lose baseball games. Winning teams don't lose baseball games like that. I'm sorry.
But you're able to lose a few like that during the year.
No,
not at all.
Not like that. No, not like that. Not when you pay a closer that much money to perform like that. And he knows he has no fastball command. And he didn't have it the other day either. He was only hitting it up in the zone. And if I'm a hitter, I am just sitting on that. I'm just sitting on that looking for something lower because all you got to do is tap it out there. Just tap it in, and it will drop. He's got to figure something out because every time, and I know we'll get into the hot takes, but shit, I'll just get to it now. He is making you crap your pants for every pitch he throws in the 9th inning. I am watching him like a hawk right now pitch because it's scary. It is scary. It is like, scary shit out there because he's blowing everything so far. He's been giving up runs. Can't have that. He's having the runs on the mound and giving up runs on the field. So watching him closely, I like Liam Hendricks, but got to do better. Got to figure something. He's on
notice.
I do not. I get losses happen. You can't lose like that. Can't lose like that ever again.
But Pollock should have had that ball in the outfield, right?
He did. I wasn't able to see it because Lennon DJ. I was listening to the radio. Lennon DJ said he made a good effort, so I took their word for it. Then I watched the replay. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that he probably could have caught that without issue. So I like him though. I like him. Yeah, I was pissed. I was pissed. Even the other day against the Mariners. Ugh.
What about today?
What about today? Yeah.
Did he pitch today?
No, they lost today though.
Oh, they lost today. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, they just got beat today. Couldn't hit shit. So it was windy out there. I don't know. Yeah, that first game though wasn't. Yeah, that still bugs me. Don't want to see that ever again. Anyway.
All right. Well, I think we had a few more texts from Greg after that, right, Vinny?
Yeah, Greg, you wrote in thinking about the potential Montas trade off the table. Vaughn, Colas, Cespedes on the table. Sheets, Montgomery, Garrett Crochet, Kelly. Is that Joe Kelly?
Jared Kelly.
Okay.
Or Joe Kelly if they want him. That's fine. He hasn't done a damn thing.
He hasn't even suited up yet for the Sox, right?
I don't even get him I don't even have a uniform yet. Oh, well, I don't know, but yeah, that's fine if they want him to.
Jake Berger are all on the table. Do you want to adjust that? Because Jake Berger is kind of on a heater right now.
He is, but I like Jake Berger. Just for the record, I like all these guys. I do not know anything about Colson Montgomery really, but those would be the guy's okay. I'd be okay parting with at this point. But yeah, I threw Berger out of the. Yeah, I do. Maybe I will take that name off because I like what he's doing right now, filling in for Yohan. So
yeah,
not Vaughn though, not Colas and Cespedes. I like the much. I'm not like the biggest rookie guy, but I don't want to see them if this Montas trade happens. And that's been kind of dying down. So, or those rumors at least. So you haven't heard anything. Apparently they really wanted Vaughn, but I don't think Rick Hahn's going to part ways with him. So I trade Vaughn for Shohei. Maybe that'll.
You let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah, we'll give you Andrew Vaughn for Shohei Ohtani.
When Moncada comes back, do you move Berger to second if he's still hitting well?
Yeah, if he's hitting well, maybe. I don't think they will, but I'd like to see him on the roster still. I don't want to see him get sent down, especially if we have a hot bat. So we can find a spot for him. If he was playing second base at Charlotte, I mean, for the first couple of games before they brought him up
there last year.
Yeah, I'm down for it. So I want to see him stay on the team though, if he can. So that'd be my thing.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. We got anything? Was that it? I think, right?
Got one more text.
Oh, one more.
Oh, okay. And then Greg, you wrote in yesterday after.
I guess we kind of went over this.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Good to see Hendricks get the save yesterday. Of course, he has to make everyone shit their pants before the final out.
Yep. Spare pair of underwear when he's throwing. What'd you say, Vinny?
Was it a bases loaded situation?
No, it wasn't bases loaded, but he did give up 3 hits, let a run through in a close game. So I'm just like, oh, if it happens again, I'm I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be calling for Craig Kimbrell, but that would be very, very upsetting. Let's just say that. So
oh boy,
would have gotten another voicemail. So hopefully it won't happen again.
I can't wait to hear the next voicemail. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we do have a plethora of emails, tweets, and YouTube comments, as well as Facebook comments. Greg, you want to take those? Nope, he's on mute. He will be taking them momentarily.
It does that by itself. I don't know why it does that. I didn't even hit anything.
Zoom is they're pre-censoring you just in
They're
case.
pre-censoring. I think all my connections are loose or something. Great to see I've made progress within a year,
You sound good, though.
Our man, Glucose Condom, writes in on YouTube. I like Justin's take on cardboard sleeves on Blu-ray and DVD cases. Disagree.
Yes.
Mad Caddies and Streetlight Manifesto are cool bands.
I'm telling you, you give me this bogus piece of cardboard as a sleeve to go over the already plastic case. I don't want it. I have all my cardboard. Like I said, and I know this is going to pain Greg. As soon as I see it's a DVD or a Blu-ray or a PlayStation game with the cardboard sleeve, I take it and I chuck it in the recycle bin. I don't want it.
Criminal.
Then everything else is not uniform. I just want plastic cases.
Justin, it's really funny. I'm kind of leaning towards you on this one.
Wow.
God.
Well, let me preface this. For the longest time, Greg, I was like you, but recently, I think maybe it's my old age. I'm just looking at it going, this is completely useless.
No, it serves no purpose. None.
Physical media is dying. We need to salvage every piece of physical media left.
But I love physical media. I mean, I'm looking at my DVD and Blu-ray shelf right now. It's like 150, 200 deep, but it comes in a wonderfully safe plastic case. That cardboard case offers no protection. And it's another step to getting to the disc. Yeah.
An extra step.
Yeah.
An inconvenience.
It is an inconvenience. So glucosamine chondroitin, thank you so much for agreeing with me. It doesn't happen often, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Michael on YouTube writes in, AL MVP Luis Robert, NL MVP Austin Riley, AL Cy Young Lucas Giolito, NL Cy Young Sean Manaea.
Ooh,
interesting.
Wow.
AL Rookie of the Year Bobby Wood Jr. is definitely on track for that. He's off to a hot start. NL Rookie of the Year Joey Bart replaced Buster Posey in San Francisco there. And World Series, he has San Diego over the Toronto.
I would love to see it.
Blue
So
Jays.
if Mike is right, I would take it.
Thanks for sending that in, Michael.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, our guy Chris on Facebook, AL East, he has the Rays, very likely. Central, the White Sox. West, he has the Angels. He's buying in on the Angels a little bit.
Ooh, Chris, be careful.
Yep.
And then for the wild card, he has the Blue Jays, the Astros, and the Yankees. Moving to the NL East, the Phillies, which I think both of you guys had. The Brewers in the Central, the West, the Dodgers. And then for the wild card spots, Braves, Mets, and Padres. And for the World Series, Chris has the White Sox over the Dodgers in 6, which I think I had that as well.
You did.
Chris continues to write. I think Greg and Vinnie, like I took Greg and Vinnie, like I took the expected approach to predict the World Series matchup where Justin is feeling a bit nostalgic and choosing teams who aren't the favorites, but look good on paper. Well,
Yes.
you look good on paper. So
As somebody who clearly just lives in the past, I will admit that was my approach. So
hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened. So
yes, mark the tape.
Yep.
When the Blue Jays beat the Phillies this year, I'm going to come back to this.
all right, there we go. Our guys Pesky Report on Twitter reacting to all of us picking the Blue Jays to win the AL East. Low-hanging fruit in the AL East.
Sounds like they were not happy that we didn't get on the Red Sox
Just a
bandwagon.
Red Sox thing.
Yeah.
Right
I
there.
think so.
Upset about that.
I don't know where I'm at on the Red Sox.
I don't know
They
where
might
I am
sneak
either.
in the wild card, but for the division, I mean, if it's not the Blue Jays for me, I think it's going to be the Rays.
Yeah,
because they
I don't
just figure
see.
out a way to win. So
Yeah, I think the Yankees are even a distant 4th in that division, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean they could the Bo Sox could sneak in the wild card there, but we'll see.
Maybe the Orioles. You know what? If something happens to the other three, 4 teams in the league, maybe the Orioles will then be in first place.
There you
We'll
go.
see.
How about that? Justin L writes in replying to our rankings. For picking the scrubs, Vinny gets no respect. Aw.
That's okay.
Justin has a great
Thank you.
Justin has a great name and the right idea. Oh, you do have a great name.
Thank you.
But the AL West and World Series pick gotta go. Greg by default wins. Go Sox. Do we know Justin L?
No, this was from a White Sox Facebook page that I posted our rankings on and asked for critiques.
So this is just White Sox fandom coming.
Yes,
out
the next
right here,
few are
pretty
clearly
much.
White Sox fandom.
I only had the Cubs winning their division.
Are you surprised though? I mean,
Yeah.
I had them beating the White Sox in the World
Well,
Series. Come on.
it triggered a Sox fan, so it did the right thing.
anytime
so.
the Cubs show up doing anything, there's a selection of the White Sox fan base that just goes ballistic. Thankfully, Greg is not one of them, and I appreciate that about him. So.
Yes.
If you want to see me lose my mind if the Cubs beat the White Sox in the World Series, you will see me go.
Oh, that'll be
absolutely
fun. That'll be
ballistic.
fun.
Ryan writes in on our rankings. Vinny and Greg get it. Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
Price on our rankings. I like this Vinny guy. You like him. We love him. Oscar on the rankings. Are these all? These
These
guys
are all
our
from the White Sox page. Yeah,
They're all coming out in full.
the Cubs
force here.
fans. None of the Cubs fans responded. It was all White Sox fans.
The hell, Cubs
They're,
fans.
they're good. They're a good group.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you say about Cub fans? It's on Twitter. What do you do? Quote?
It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, you can't say that about the White Sox fans.
No, of course not.
Dude, what are the Cubs fans? The Sand People or the citizens of Most Espa?
We're the
or Most
Jawas.
Isley?
Yeah, right?
We just
Just
we
scavenging.
pick up a bunch of
Scavenge.
players, then we sell them off for shit.
They just-
Pretty much what Jed's doing right now.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so Seiya Suzuki is like finding the Mandalorian armor at that.
yeah,
point,
pretty much.
isn't
He
it?
is our
Okay.
Mandalorian armor
to
at this
that.
point. Yeah.
Where did we leave off? Oscar, did I read his yet?
Yeah.
Seen too many predictions on lately on the Sox, but I hope they win it all. Hope so too, Oscar. And then last we have Lynn. Is that last? No, that's not.
No,
last.
there's two more.
Lynn on the rankings. All I can say is I hope my Cubbies do well this year. I love to see them at least get to the playoffs. You guys feeling playoffs yet? with the
No,
hot
I mean,
start to the
if
Cubbies?
everything breaks right, there's no injuries and everybody makes progress.
There's no sell off.
No sell-off, maybe a second or last wild card spot, but I don't see that happening. Vinny, I don't know about you.
Vinny's holding
Yeah.
on. He's got him winning the division.
He's got them winning the division. What am I talking about?
I got him winning the division. I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I don't know if there's going to be a sell-off. Yeah, I don't know if they're
We'll have to wait and see.
Competing for the division, why would they sell?
Well, yeah, but it's Tom Ricketts, you know what I mean? And Jed. And whoever the hell our GM is now, I don't even know what the guy's name is because Jed's
there
really.
A GM? Oh yeah,
I thought there was.
GM.
Jed's the guy. He's the guy.
Yeah.
He's like the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, you know. So
pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to end up doing this year if they're in it, in the hunt. If they're if they're in third, but they're 3 games back, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
I think you're right.
But they'll still win the division.
Meredith on Facebook on music albums topics. Here we go. I love that DMB and Goo Goo Dolls made it on the list, but a little sad they're off their only honorable mentions. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I could have done the Central Park live album, that would have probably been like 1 or 2 on my list for sure. I got to say, though, I was very happy that Vinny went and listened to Everclear's So Much for the Afterglow, and he said he liked that album. It's not bad. Did you listen to Coldplay's A Rush of Blood to the Head yet?
No.
Okay. Well, you let me know when you do that too. Yeah.
And last but not least, Daniel on his on the Marquee Network. You'd think they give their employees Marquee for the away games / games we don't work, but nope. Okay, so
Daniel is a former coworker, or I should say former teacher I used to work with in our district, and he part-time, I believe, worked, I don't know if I think he was a vendor or guest services member at Wrigley. And I was on a tirade earlier this week being mad that I didn't have Marquee still. And then a good friend of mine who will remain nameless because I like to protect the innocents may have given me his information. And now I have Marquee.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
And I just want to say, after watching, I'm very thankful he gave it to me, and it's great to watch the Cubs games. But Tom Ricketts, your channel and your app suck. The app, app, piece of shit. And the graphic
roasted.
Thank you, Vinny. And the graphic design, and maybe because I'm a snob because we do this for our thumbnails and things.
Mm-hmm.
Their graphic design for their bumpers and things is literally a white screen with text. Like anybody can do that. Like, come on, where's all this?
Nice.
Those biblical losses are having an effect on their budget.
They must be.
Hire people to do it. Maybe you
hire us,
do it, Justin.
Yeah. No, I hire Greg. Greg's the one that knows what he's doing when it comes to graphic design. I just throw a bunch of shit on the Canva page and hope it sticks. So,
well, Ricketts better pay up then. So
you might be waiting. You might be waiting. All right. Well, thank you for all that wrote in, commented, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. Now, though, we are going to go. Greg's maybe a little angry this week, so we're going to go to Greg's hot takes.
Greg's hot takes.
I thought you want to get nuts. Come on.
Hell yeah.
All right. Want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts.
All right. Okay, Greg, tell us what is making you angry and what's on your mind this week?
Well, I already kind of talked about Liam Hendricks, so I don't have to revisit it again. So, Liam, I love you, but I hate you. You drive me nuts. You got to make me stop crapping myself in the 9th inning because I can't take it anymore.
We'd appreciate that too.
But if you do it again, believe me, this podcast voicemail line will hear about it. MLB The Show 22 PS5 still in the shitter, headed its way back to Fort Wayne, Indiana in a box. But MLB The Show, your updates suck. Fix your equipment and edit player, my inventory. This is what I love. You can actually, because Road to the Show, you can buy equipment for your player and everything. And then, so you do that. Let's say I want to get the latest Wilson A2000. Bum, spend this many stubs on it whatsoever. Go to edit player, and oh, wait, your equipment's not there because your game is broken. Yes, you've already on your 3rd patch. That is a crazy download size. You're turning should I say you're turning into the battlefield of
God, that's a steep
you're trending in that direction. I mean, overall the core is good, but the server issues still remain. That's the stuff they're trying to fix. All the other details within the patch are going to Diamond Dynasty and leaving anything offline franchise mode. They don't have the roster update yet. Seiya Suzuki is not an MLB.
That's a crime. I know.
What the hell is that?
Despite all that, friend of the podcast and editor-in-chief of Game Informer magazine gave the next-gen version, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, a 8.5.
Yeah, that's a fair score for what the game does. I mean, this is stuff we're really nitpicking on, but as far as it runs and everything on next gen, I mean, it's
fair enough.
It's a cut above the rest, but when you get into server issues and mini modes, when you really dive in, there's some stuff that still needs we're talking about multiple patches right now, and they're still trying to catch up here. So
gotcha.
So Sony PlayStation 5 is making me so mad that I'm going out and I'm buying Xbox games.
Wow.
And I have 3 Xbox Series X games, and I do not have an Xbox Series X.
Wait, you're buying those games now?
Well, because they also run on the Xbox.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
So the other day, once again, cheap-ass gamer strikes again on Twitter. Gotta stop following him.
Yeah, you do.
But for the first time in 15 years, I have bought a new copy of Halo. That's right. I picked up Halo Infinite the other day. It's actually downloading. I'm going to give it to go on the Xbox One later on. And I haven't played Halo since Halo 3, I think. So I'm going to check it out. And I got the Steelbook and the game for like under $20 from Best Buy. So nice. I'm just like, the hell with you, PlayStation, going back to the roots a little bit. So there we go. I did have some questions for you guys, or I guess you, Justin. Do you remember what you came up with for the original name of this podcast, since it is our anniversary? Oh, Vinnie remembers.
We had a different name.
We had a different name. I think it was just a working title, but
I have
your
no
initial
clue.
pitch when you were messing around with the video. Do you remember what you had down for it?
No. What was our initial name, Vinnie? What was it?
What do you know, Vinnie?
It was Just a Bit Outside.
Just a Bit Outside.
Was
that
it?
is
Oh,
correct.
yeah, from the Major League line.
Just from the Major League line, but I went on to I went to search that in like a podcast app, and there's like a million podcasts with that, mostly like Cleveland Indians / Guardians baseball based podcasts.
It's funny. The more, obviously, we're not going to change the name now because the tens of followers that we have, maybe even we have hundreds of followers on Twitter. But the more I think about it, like the search engine optimization, the SEO, when you search baseball and whatever. Actually, though, a lot of our stuff is starting to come up. So maybe the SEO, maybe the searching stuff's not bad. But you would think like it's not the most. Engines. It rolls off the tongue, so I guess it's a decent name. I don't know.
There was also this video on YouTube called Baseball or Whatever. That
took those guys down.
Up. Yeah, I don't think that really comes up anymore.
No.
So, but Just a Bit Outside, which would have worked too, because we kind of go outside the lines a little bit with some of our stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, we kept it simple: baseball and whatever.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you did.
I have had multiple people come up to me and say, and I don't remember which one of us came up with the name, but I've had multiple people come up and say,
I'll take credit for that one.
I really like how it's just very upfront. The first half is going to be baseball, and the second half is going to be some other topic of whatever our choice is. I'm like, it's not. There's no false advertising, that's for sure.
Yeah. Right. And that's what I originally said. I'm like, that way we can talk about movies, video games, something else besides stinking baseball. So,
so there you go.
And then, going back and listening to the first episode for this episode, I couldn't understand a damn thing I was saying. I don't know if you still can, but
don't worry, we're gonna play a clip later.
Yes, you are. But just for the record, I was talking directly through these very expensive Sony quality products right here where you can't understand anything. So but I wore them for you guys today since it's, our anniversary. So
there you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, that does it for our Greg's Hot Takes. Let's get to some actual baseball. Let's do it.
Baseball.
Welcome back to Major League Baseball. Sort of.
Taking a look at Chicago's 2 favorite teams and other happenings around the MLB.
All right. So like we said, both teams are kind of off to a hot start. The Sox, obviously, I think we knew that was going to be the case after that first game that caused some concern for Greg. But I did reach out on the Sox Facebook pages and on Twitter and ask Sox fans, what are they thinking? So first we had Rex on Facebook. He said, I don't like Abreu and Grandal in the 3 and 4 spots in the lineup. Greg, I don't know. Are they still in those spots?
Where do you want them to hit, Rex? Like what that is
a rhetorical question.
Yeah, that is where they're meant to hit. You have a 3-hitter, you have a they can literally hit nowhere else.
Is Grandal maybe are people upset because he's more focused on drawing walks usually? Is that why? In the
but
cleanup?
Really, I mean, what are you going to hit him lead off? I don't think so.
What's Leori up to? Put Leori Garcia up there.
Oh boy.
Oh, God. Well, he is playing a lot too. Like,
I know he is.
I mean, Abreu's a 3-hitter. I mean, that's his spot in the lineup. Grandal, I mean, if you want to drop him lower, that's fine. I'm not putting him higher. So
okay.
No, God no. Why would you?
Yeah.
But he's a guy I pegged at cleanup. I mean, if he's not batting cleanup, it'd be Eloy for me. But
would it be Eloy or put Vaughn there? Maybe
Vaughn eventually. Yeah, he's off to a hot start. But if you want to put him 5, 6, 7, that's okay, I guess. But 4 is fine for now for me. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, Bray's in the 3 spot though. Come on, Rex.
I do not know Rex. One of the other guys that wrote in, Joe. I do know Joe. He said Sox all day, first in the AL Central, in front of that other team we associate with. I don't know if that's a dig on the Cubs or the Twins. I'm going to think the Twins. But he's
Twins.
Yes, but he said he is happy for both the Sox and Cubs that they're off to good starts. So Joe, thank you. And then
wait, is Joe like? Is he from Minnesota or something?
No, he's from Chicago. I grew up with him.
Well, he's talking about the Cubs then, right?
Maybe.
I'm not talking about the Twins.
Joe, if you're listening, write in and tell us what you're writing, what you're talking about.
Well, if you're talking about the Twins, Joe, don't bother writing in because I don't want to.
Greg doesn't want to hear about the Twins.
No, I do not.
And then good old Pretzel Vince wrote in. He said, while I root for both teams as a casual fan, I'm more excited about the White Sox. They're off to a good start. They have a good shot at winning the pennant, possibly the World Series. They have to stay healthy, but right now they are playing very good ball. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Everybody, an old man's talking.
So there you go. There's some comments from Sox fans right now about the hot start. Greg, I think you added this. You said the White Sox are the first team to have a 28-man roster and 28 men that were injured this week, including
we're going to have both.
including Giolito, Lynn, Crochet, Kelly, Burr, Moncada, and Pollock.
And Eloy day-to-day, Josh Harrison day-to-day now. So we're building on that 28-man.
There is a Twitter account. I don't know. Right now. I don't know which Twitter account it is, but they literally are taking images of the Sox players and putting them in the clouds, making them look like angels. And it started off as 1 or 2, and now it's like it's just all these.
What
people.
They did with Eloy last year.
We were talking about that last year because when Eloy got hurt, they like made it like the Sox in the first like season like laid out his jersey and everything, and they all wore.
Yeah, he was in memoriam and he's dead.
He died.
And I love that the Sox fans just made a mockery of that because it was absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, they were one step away.
It's comical now because they're like the next person up. They're like, "Oh, welcome." It was never going to happen.
I mean, they were one step away from all wearing his jersey number.
Pretty much.
Yeah, something like
we need a patch. Can we get a shoulder patch?
Yeah, 74. Like, what is happening right now? The guy's like literally in the clubhouse too. He's just inactive.
Yeah, it's not like he's gone and he's in a hospital somewhere.
Right.
You can go talk to him. He's right down
He's
the,
right there. He's right down the bench. He's good for nothing, but just keep your seat warm, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing is, I know Greg, obviously being our anniversary episode, we're going to revisit some of the things from previous episodes and our earlier topics. So Greg, you want to talk about what we are revisiting from our White Sox talk?
So, on our first episode, I was ragging on good old Nick Williams a little bit. Remember
I don't
that?
even remember Nick Williams.
Yeah. So he was this outfielder that was with Philly, and he just stunk with Philly. He came to the White Sox and also stunk. He was a NRI in spring training, and then he selected his contract in the first week. And then Tony had him batting in the 5th spot for like 3 straight games or something like that. So I was ragging on him on our first episode, like, get this guy out of here. And he did eventually leave. And what he's up to now, well, he is with Marge Simpson and George Bush Sr. in the unemployment line because he is.
I was wondering why that was there.
Don't worry, it gets easier every week. Yeah, I think he's just a free agent according to Wikipedia. I don't know, unless he's in Mexican League somewhere with Yasiel Puig and those guys. But yeah, just at home, sitting on his ass. As long as you're not in the White Sox. So, because he wasn't doing shit last year. So
I give him time. The Cubs they'll pick him up.
One thing that was going good was You're Mean at this time a year ago.
Oh, God.
And I can add him to the injured list, too, because he's still technically on the 40-man roster and on the injured list. So I don't know if he had a shot of being on the 28-man roster, but we were living the good days with You're Mean a year ago before the whole Tony La Russa debacle.
If only we would have known what was about to come.
Yeah, that was came later on down the road. But
that is still one of our highest rated videos. Is you talking about your disdain for Tony La Russa on YouTube?
Right. Well, that translates to you asked me, Justin, how do you feel about Tony La Russa? And I wasn't a fan a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And if we fast forward to now, how do I feel about Tony La Russa? A little better, I guess.
You're content.
I'm content. Don't really mind him so much. That's about it. So
yeah, I mean, I guess you could have a lot worse to say. I mean,
you could end this season, we'll see what kind of shenanigans he pulls. But right now I'm a Tony. Tony guy?
For the sake of our content creation, I hope he does something stupid in the near future because it makes our views go up.
He will. He'll do some old man Hall of Famer shit. But he is batting Andrew Vaughn in the lineup now. He's getting a lot more at bats because he really wasn't last year. I remember.
Right.
At least what we were talking about. So Vaughn's in the lineup, or he has been. DHN played left today or yesterday, and he's swinging the bat pretty well. So nice. Let's not trade him, Rickon. Thank you very much. So
all right,
that's what we were talking about a year ago about the White Sox. So
well, I mean, they're still
different team,
still in contention. The window is still open for a championship, albeit maybe closing a little bit. I know Greg is concerned about that, but
it closes as soon as it opens. It starts to close.
You talk to Cubs fans, they'll tell you all about that. Let's speaking of Cubs fans, let's talk about some comments from the Cubs. And like I said, we did not. I put both these comments to both White Sox fans and Cubs fans. We didn't really get anything from Cubs fans, which was disappointing. But in terms of a hot start, the guys over from the Dorm Room Dispute podcast said the rotation is pretty thin right now for the Cubs. Sorry. But if we can weather the storm, I have White Sox in there. If we can weather the storm for the first few months, we are going to be dangerous. So maybe that is for the Sox.
It's been for the White Sox too.
Sorry, that was me. My fault. My mistake. Thank you, Dorm Room Podcast, for referencing the White Sox. We appreciate it. Our guy, Pretzel Vince, also wrote in about the Cubs. He said, I usually wait for them until they get past the June swoon. If they can get past June with a decent record, I can usually get excited about the Cubs. I think that's a great attitude to have, especially this season. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've had an epiphany or what, but I'm just going to enjoy the season for what it is. There's no expectations on these guys. Unlike last year where I thought they should still be playing well before they dumped everybody. And that was looming over them all season as well. I'm really excited to see what Nick Madrigal and Nico Horner can do. I'm excited to see what Schwindel and Wisdom, if they can keep going their success from last year. I'm excited to see Rivas get more playing time. David Ross, you need to get him more playing time at first. Hermosillo and Ortega out in center field. I'm excited about even Clint Frazier, who I didn't expect anything from. Don't really know if he should be batting leadoff every time he plays, but I don't know. Hendricks worries me. We can get into. He had a really rough outing yesterday. Justin Steele doesn't look too bad. Granted, he only made it 4 innings tonight, but he only gave up 2 runs in those 4 innings, so I'll take it. It's still early. Drew Smiley worries me a little bit. I don't know. He did good this last outing, but who knows if he can keep that up. So I don't know. I mean, Vinny, you're a Cubs fan. How do you feel? Like, I just feel like they're playing with house money. We'll see what they do. If they can end up being 500, I'll be happy. I think that's a reach, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I picked them to win the division. To me, it feels like 2015. It has a chance to be like 2015, where they're going to surprise and kind of take a bigger leap than people think. It really comes down to how guys progress. Is Frank Schwindel going to be able to do what he did last year at not that same capacity that he was doing, but is he going to be able to replicate something similar to that, if not the exact same thing? They got guys like Clint Frazier. Is he going to get back on track after, being in that soul sucking organization that's known as the New York Yankees? Now that he can grow a beard and play freely.
Yeah.
What's Nick Madrigal? Is Nico Horner going to be able to sustain a whole season playing without,
injuries and
being injured? Right now, Patrick Wisdom seems like he didn't fix whatever was wrong at the end of last season.
Yeah.
He's 0 for 3 tonight. Nick Madrigal is 2 for 4. And Frank Schwindel is 2 for 3 right now. And he's currently at bat. So he's doing well. They are playing with house money. I have no expectations. So it could very well be a fun season, I think. I think they're going to, they got a bunch of try hard guys. So they're going to be in, they're going to try every game. It's not going to have that feeling with what it felt like with the core where, if they were down by a bunch of runs that was hit, they weren't going to try to scrap anything back to, scrape anything together and, kind of come back. But I'm looking forward to the season. I think it's going to be a fun year. Alfonso Rivas needs more playing time at first. Frank Schwindel can take DH, but Rivas needs to be the first baseman. There's been already too many errors by Frank in the field for him to have that position when you have the DH position he can man. And maybe you can take Jason Hayward and leave him on the bench more often than not, and find spots for the other outfielders out there. So
it seems like they haven't been afraid to do that so far. Like every time I look at the lineup, like he's definitely not usually in the lineup. I don't know if you've noticed that too, Vinny, at least from what I've seen the last couple games at least. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see what I told you I would eat crow on this. I was very hard on Ian Happ. I am not an Ian Happ fan, but he is kicking ass to start off this season. So, Ian, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, please keep it going. They got him playing left field, which, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he came up as a second baseman from college. Then they put him in center, and now he's playing left. So, that's fine. We'll see what he can do. It's crazy to think he's probably one of the leaders on the team now. It sounds like, obviously, along with Hayward and Hendricks and maybe Contreras. But so we'll see. I mean, maybe he's finally figured it out. And if that's the case, then roll with it and, keep him in the lineup. I know he had a good hit earlier today when I was watching the game. So keep it going there. Can we get into the Brewers and Cubs and how much I'm sick of the Brewers? I never really cared about the Brewers ever until the last couple of years. I always figured I always hated the Cardinals. The Brewers are turning into this whiny organization. Oh my God, this whole thing with them. They hit Contreras last weekend for the 15th time in like a year and a half to 2 years. And then obviously they threw at McCutchen, and I am not for throwing it, guys, especially not at their head, but they threw it as like hip. And then McCutchen was like, they were trying to hurt me. No, they weren't. Come on. Now, I do know that there was something along the lines of like the last 2.5 to 3 years, both the Cubs and Brewers have hit each other 24 and 25 times respectively. So it's definitely not all one-sided. But when one guy gets hit 15 times, you can't tell me that there's not something to that. That seems kind of silly. I don't know, Vinny, what did you think about that?
Yeah, well, I'm curious as to who hits who first in that 20 was it 25 to 24? I thought it was 27 to 24 times hit. The Brewers have hit the Cubs 27 times, and the Cubs.
That was it. Thank you.
But I'm curious as to who hits who first. I'm pretty sure it's the Brewers. Again, I'm probably bias on this, but I'm pretty sure it's the Brewers hitting the Cubs first, especially this last 2 times. It was Wilson Contreras, and then it was Ian Happ getting hit in the knee. And then the Cubs retaliated by hitting Andrew McCutchen in his butt area.
Yes.
And yeah, it might have been the hip, and he might have been, saying they were trying to hurt him is because he was worried the old man his hip was going to break by getting hit by the ball. And I heard his thing was that the unwritten rule, one of these great unwritten rules, is if you're going to hit a guy, you hit him on the first pitch. Supposedly this was the third or fourth pitch, and they were throwing off speed stuff. So that tells you that, as a hitter, you're not going to get hit. They're going to pitch to you. My feeling is if you're going to hit somebody and you're going to hit them just in the butt area, that's a perfect thing to do. Throw some off speed pitches, make them lull them into thinking that you're actually trying to pitch to them. Then you just rifle one right at their butt and make them feel it. But his thing was too that, if you're throwing at them, they don't have time to react because they're going to be leaning into it, not expecting a ball to be coming at them. I don't really care about that as long as, you're hitting them in the butt area. You're going to do that. I think he's just being a baby about it. But yeah, I don't like the whole beanball thing, but what are the Brewers doing? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
I know Contreras admitted the past couple ones that I've been hitting, I've been leaning over the plate, taking up a lot of space. Still, have some control and don't, if you can't pitch inside, what are you doing? Stop trying to hurt, you're going to hurt somebody doing that, but whatever, I guess that's why they wear the pads and stuff like that. So I guess it can't be, people shouldn't be, getting too upset about it. The Brewers are very whiny about it. If you're hitting people, baseball, you're going to get hit back. So what are you complaining about? You're not, it's out of no reason. Even if it is an accident, you keep doing it. The other team's going to get upset.
You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Stop complaining about it.
I agree. So I know Greg will be right back, but he mentioned to revisit. Obviously, we were just talking about the Cubs and Brewers still hitting each other for the last couple seasons now. He said, Justin described the Cubs as a dumpster fire a year ago. How would you describe them now? Like I said, I kind of have this sense of optimism. I wouldn't call them a dumpster fire. I would just kind of call them, I wouldn't even call them a dumpster. They're just, they're a bunch of guys playing baseball. I don't know. He looks like a guy. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird feeling of, I don't even know if I would call it optimism, but it's just I listen to the game, I turn them on, and honestly, unlike other years, I don't know if they're going to lose. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to blow someone out. I don't know if they're going to get blown out. And it's kind of exciting. It's weird. It's kind of like you said, Vinny, going back to that 2015 season, reminds me a little bit of 03, 04, 05, maybe a little bit, where they were decent and they had potential. I mean, I don't know if I would call them decent yet, but there's that potential of what you could see in the future. So yeah, you know what? It's a weird place to be. I am much happier in this position with the Cubs than I was last season when you knew it was going to end. It was just a matter of when. So as much as I bitched about them trading everyone, I feel like it was ripping the Band-Aid. You had to do it. It's over and done with now. It was weird seeing Brian in a Rockies uniform when I was watching the game earlier before we started recording, but it's fine. I don't know. Any differences for you or?
No, I actually prefer watching baseball this way just because, there's no expectations. You don't have to get, they lose a game. Okay. So what? They lose a game. It's not like you're, like Greg, where, the expectation is you're supposed to win every game.
Yeah.
And so when they lose and lose in an ugly way, it's
depressing,
absolutely frustrating, and to the point where you go on an expletive rant.
Who would do such a thing?
Right.
He's going to create a lot more work with me if they keep losing.
And I remember, after 2016, that's how I felt though early on in the season, where it's like, every game mattered, and it was, none of the core were hitting. What are they doing? They all stink. They got to put it together, or if only they could put it together. So yeah, I like this season. I think it's gonna be a fun year. So yeah, I'm all for it.
I would say I am more excited for Cubs baseball, or just I'm more excited for baseball in general this year than opposed to like the last 3 or 4 seasons after the World Series, just for the exact same reason that you don't know what's going to happen. There's not this aura of you have to win now. It's just, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll be good this day. Maybe they'll be bad. And you just kind of take it for what it is. And there's not that sense of, oh God, they lost again. We're going to have to settle for the wild card. Like if the Sox go on a major losing streak or something like that. So, all right, real quick, we'll go around the MLB, and then I have a couple things I want to mention about the Hawks before we get into our whatever. Kershaw was pulled after a perfect 7-inning game. I know Greg said he gets it, but he hates it. I get it. I know Fergie Jenkins was not happy about it at all. He was on Twitter the other day saying, I would have stayed out there, which I get it. But Kershaw also had major shoulder problems last year, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't pitch a lot in the offseason, didn't practice. You had the late start, the short spring training. I get it. I mean, I don't know.
It's not a full spring training. And he's got injury problems in the past, and not just last year, but the year before that. I think he had a bad back.
Yeah.
He was fine with it too.
That's the other thing.
He was fine. He said he would have liked to have stayed out there, but he gets it and he's okay with it. I think, back in the day, guys probably would have, stayed in there and kept going. But they also didn't pay pitchers like they pay him today. There's a lot of money invested in it.
It's a business.
It's a business, and it's one of the most important positions on the field. So yeah, I there's a lot of uproar about it, but I don't know. I think it's just noise. I don't. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. This isn't also a normal season either. If they had a full spring training, he probably would have gotten the chance, I feel like, to do it, but they didn't, and this is where they're at in baseball. Guys are getting pulled after 80 pitches because they aren't ramped up. They have more on the line than just a perfect game. And what happens if they have him go into the 9th inning, he doesn't get it, and the next start he blows out his arm.
Yeah.
Or he's injured after that and he misses significant time. I don't really care. I mean,
the way I look at it too is if this is the Orioles and they have no shot, then let the guy stay out there. If he gets hurt, it doesn't really matter. Your season's pretty much going to be done in a couple of weeks anyway. Yeah. But the Dodgers are World Series contenders. They have a chance to keep going, to get far. Yeah, I think Dave Roberts said as much. So I get it.
Kershaw said the same thing too.
Yeah,
those individual awards are great, but we're
not the World Series.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
I get it. Greg mentioned that the NL Cy Young pickoff. The NL Cy Young race is off to a hot start. Logan Webb yesterday had 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 0 walks, and 7 Ks. And his first start was 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 3 Ks. So he's off to a great start. The other thing I want to mention real quick before we wrap up our baseball talk, and we have one more news segment with baseball we'll get to in a second, was Gabe Kapler. If you guys didn't hear, yesterday the Giants and the Padres played. The Giants were up 10-1. The Giants batter Mauricio Dubon went up and bunted for a hit while they were up for 9, and the Padres were very angry about that. Bunting, maybe not the best look, but if you want to go up there and swing for the fence, I don't care. But I'm not a big Gabe Kapler fan. I thought he was a complete boob when he was in Philadelphia as a manager, but I liked his quote that he came out. He said, "I fully support the decisions here. I support the decision that Duggar made. I support the decision that Dubon made. The bunch right there. Our goal is not exclusively to win one game in a series. It's to try and win the entire series. Sometimes that means trying to get deeper into the opposition's pen. And I understand that many teams don't love that strategy, and I get why. It's something we talked about it as a club before the season, and we are comfortable with that strategy. It's not meant to be disrespectful in any way. It's because we feel it's the best way to try and win a series." Yes, I think that nails it. I mean, the goal is to eat up the bullpen so that they don't have anybody to go to. So if you want to keep hitting in providing, extra base hits and, moving guys around the base paths, and in the first game of the series, you get through like 3 bullpen pitchers. So then the next game, they only have like 2 or 3 maybe to go with. That's an excellent strategy. So why are we throwing it, guys? Now, like I said, bunting, probably not the best look, but go up there and swing away. I know there was a video of Kapler talking to this player. So I don't know if he said, hey, don't do that next time. And now he's just defending his players, which I think is a great way to do it because there's other managers that would throw their players under the bus. But yeah, I saw that and I thought that was a very interesting take and one that I really liked. So,
yep. No, I agree. I think, especially if he handled it, in the clubhouse and then came out, had his players back. That's a lot better than the San Diego Padres manager. Who was a guy last year?
Oh, not Andy Green. I honestly don't remember. Not Bud Black. Was it Bud Black? No.
Oh.
But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when Tatis hit that grand slam and then he just absolutely ripped into him in the press conference. It's like, what are you doing? Have your players back, especially a player of that talent. If it was some, scrub or something like that was just, getting minimal playing time, which again, you shouldn't be, ripping into him anyways.
Right.
But I guess it would be more forgivable. Doing that to somebody that wasn't of Tatis's caliber, but yeah, whatever.
That's how I felt. Yeah,
they're playing the long game. Again, a bunt isn't probably the best look, but if you're gonna still try to get hits and home runs and eat into the bullpen, that's just great strategy. Bunting probably isn't the best way to go about doing that though, and
agreed.
It doesn't seem like that's what the call was. It's just what he did. And I'm wondering if they had a shift on at that time. He was just trying to beat the shift.
That could be. Which I can't blame that either.
Don't shift. So whatever, if that's what he was doing, I kind of take back what I said then. Kudos to him beating the shift.
Yeah.
Then don't shift. That's on the defense to not shift that way.
Right.
So yeah, whatever.
We'll see what happens. Greg also had he wanted to revisit Trevor Bauer and the sticky stuff. Trevor Bauer, I think he's still going to be away for a little while. So we'll see. That blew up really quick. And then he's kind of been in limbo. And then obviously the sticky stuff. I did hear that the umpires are now checking the players' fingers and hands. They are not just checking the belt and stuff like that anymore and the glove. Okay. So that's kind of a unique perspective. I like that. And the other thing, Joe West and Paul LaDuca, you guys will have to refresh my memory. I do not remember what happened with Joe West and Paul LaDuca. Do you guys remember?
I do.
Greg is back.
Okay.
I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we are. You're dedicated. Okay. You're on your phone now.
Okay.
Right?
So we have all technology has failed, just to give you an update. So we have reverted to the phone Zoom app now.
That's all right.
Until we get this figured out. But
fair enough.
So if you remember, the Paul LaDuca thing remember he lost that court case to him where Joe West sued him.
Oh, that's right.
Because of the whole Billy Wagner. He claimed that Billy Wagner was stealing calls from Joe West.
That's
because he let him drive around the car, but Paul LaDuca never caught Billy Wagner when Joe West was umpiring. So it was like a false accusation thing. And Joe West won that defamation case, and Paul LaDuca had to pay him a good chunk of money. So I know that was happening a year ago at that time. So Joe West is obviously gone. And I think they purposely waited now that, umpires are kind of like NFL refs now, where they announce the results of replays.
Yes.
In the stadium. I think they waited purposely now that until Joe West retired. So because he would have probably loved to do that. So he loves the big stage. So
there you go. All right, we are happy to debut a new segment. Vinny, let's go.
And now, folks, it's time for
Who's Hot?
So damn hot.
Oh, hot.
Because I'm a hot little potato right now.
And who's not?
I'm afraid that the condition has left me cold. freezing my Royal Rastafarian name-is off.
This guy sucks.
All right, Vinny, tell us who's hot, who's not.
All right, for the White Sox, Greg, do you want to guess who is hot out of? Okay, hold on. This is going to be a weekly segment where we're going to look at the last 7 days and see who is hot on both sides of town, hitting for each team, and who is not. And it's going to be based on the minimum plate appearances. Do you guys know what the minimum requirement plate appearances per game is?
3 per game. 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
What do you guys know per game?
Is it 3 per game?
3.
Yep, 3.1 to be exact.
Oh wow. Okay.
And this is all from Fangraphs. So yes, I'll be doing this on a weekly basis. For the White Sox, Greg, do you know who is the hottest hitter right now for the White Sox?
I would guess either Tim Anderson or Luis Robert.
Tim Anderson does not qualify as for the hottest hitter. He doesn't have enough plate appearances right now.
That's right. He missed the first 2 games. I would say Luis Robert then.
That is correct. Luis Robert is hitting .350 with an on-base percentage of .381, slugging .700 with an OPS of 1.081, and weighted runs created plus of .207.
Nice.
Sweet. He's hot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Do you know who's not hot for the White Sox right now?
Okay, so again, taking into account plate appearances, would it be Grandal?
No.
No.
Who's near the bottom though?
Okay.
The list was very short. It was about 5 or 6 guys.
Okay. Would it be Abreu?
No. This guy I was talking about is this guy would have been replaced with a player I had mentioned earlier about keeping on.
Wait, you're not. Wait, Berger's doing good though.
Yep, but who would he replace if I put him in the position I said?
Josh Harrison? Or no, Leary Garcia. Oh, it is Josh Harrison. Okay.
Josh Harrison. Yep. He's hitting 167 on base, 211, slugging .333 for an OPS of 544 with a weighted runs created plus of 50. Not good. Not
Yikes.
Good at all.
Good thing the glove is working with him, though.
He had a nice play out in the field.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Justin.
Yes.
Do you happen to know who the hottest hitter is for the Cubs?
That would be my guy that I've been behind since day one, Ian Happ. Seiya Suzuki. Love it. All right.
Suzuki. He is hitting 400, on base percentage of 424, slugging 1,000 for an OPS of 1.524, and a weighted runs created plus of 300. He is on fire right now. And also another fun stat from him is he is the first player in the first 5 games now that they've played. I don't know tonight. Let me check. He does not have a walk tonight, but he is the first player since 1920 when they started the RBI stat to have a walk and a RBI in the first 5 games. So he's making history right now. Maybe tonight he can make it 6. I don't think so because they're in the bottom of the 9th. So
not going to happen.
That's going to happen. Unless the Rockies tie it up. So, yes, he is extremely hot for the Cubs right now.
Good for him.
Do you know who is not hot for the Cubs?
The guy that just went 0 for 4 with a strikeout right now, that would be Patrick Wisdom.
Yes, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Exact. But yes, before tonight, he was hitting .059 with an on-base percentage of 105, slugging .059, and an OPS of 164 with a weighted runs created plus of minus 57.
Oh, Patrick, no.
Doesn't get any colder than that.
No.
And just to put into perspective some of these hitting streaks, because some of them can be pure luck. I've also wrote down what the I don't know if you guys have heard of the metric BABIP, batting average on balls in play.
I love that stat.
For those of you that don't know, it looks at the average at balls specifically hit in play. So it doesn't look at strikeouts or home runs in the calculation. It's the calculation's hits minus home runs divided by at-bats minus strikeouts minus home runs plus sacrifice flies. It helps provide context for hitters and pitchers. And for hitters, the league average is 300. So if a hitter is, like say a Suzuki or Ian Happ, before today, his BABIP was 700. So he's going to regress the mean back to 300 at some point. Say a Suzuki right now, his BABIP is 375. So he's hitting 400 with 375. He's probably going to regress obviously a little bit. Whereas Luis Robert, why do I always want to say Robert? Luis Robert is his BABIP. He's hitting 350, but his BABIP is 294. So he actually can be doing better. He's having a little bit of bad luck in his balls in play. Josh Harrison and Patrick Wisdom, they are both ahead of their batting average. So they're still having some bad luck. So they probably could improve their batting average a little bit. Josh Harrison was hitting 167. His BABIP was 176. Patrick Wisdom was hitting 059 and his BABIP is 164. So both of those guys could probably improve with a little bit of luck. Hopefully, obviously it's not an exact science where, they are going to get back to 300 at some point this season. They could still just be very unlucky or just very bad if they're just smacking the ball into the ground and not out of the outfield. So I figured I'll provide that as context so we can kind of see who's lucky and who's actually hitting well, like Luis Robert is hitting well right now. Ian Happ is getting extremely lucky to have a BABIP of 700.
700? So, yeah, holy crap.
So that is debut for who's hot and who's not.
I love it.
Awesome.
All right. I have two quick Blackhawks things if we want to jump to some hockey talk real quick, because I know we're running really long.
Sure.
If not,
used puck bags.
Hey, shut up! You guys stink. I thought we came here to play hockey.
I knew we forgot something.
Diving in on what's happening with the Chicago Blackhawks.
All right. The only thing I really have, Pat Foley, if you're not familiar with him or you're not in Chicago, he is the historic Blackhawks commentator, broadcaster. He's been around. I think he's 80. He's been around since either 81, 82, something like that, late 70s, if that. There was a brief period of time where he was fired for wanting a raise in the early 2000s by old man Dollar Bill Wirtz. And he went and did some Wolves broadcasts, then came back after Bill Wirtz passed away, and he's been back ever since. Historic guy. If you've ever listened to or watched a Blackhawks game, you've heard his calls. There's something fishy with the way he's being why he's leaving or being pushed out. There's going to be more that comes out, I think. He's barely called any. He's probably only called a quarter to half the games. No away games this season. They've had a bunch of other people come in and do his job. And the season's not technically even over, but they're having him stop tonight. So they did a big send off for him. I recorded it. I'm going to go back and watch it, but yeah, great guy. There's not going to be another guy like him. I want to go pick up NHL Open Ice Challenge for PlayStation 1 because he did the audio broadcasting for that game. It's like NBA Jam for hockey. And then lastly, Jonathan Toews. Someone sticks a microphone in his mouth and he says something stupid. This week, Jonathan Toews said he'd like to have more communication with with GM Kyle Davidson and the coaching staff to hear their honest opinion of what they expect from him as team captain. You're the freaking team captain. You should know what is expected of you. You've been
boom, roasted.
You've been the captain for a decade. If you don't know what's expected of you, or if you want to play we've never been this bad card, I don't know what to do, then you shouldn't be captain in the first place. Taves, I love you for what you've done for the city and for the team, but the last few seasons, you clearly don't understand. You do not have the ability level anymore. It's time to go. So I hope next season they trade him because he's only got 1 year left on his deal and he is not worth $11.5 million. So there you go. That is all I have for Blackhawks talk. I am angry. They suck. The season cannot end soon enough for them. Real quick, I guess, Vinny, you want to hit the Bulls? The Bulls.
He's on fire.
He owns defense. Whoa. I don't play defense.
Boom shakalaka.
All right, you're going to have to listen to Mike on this, guys. Okay. Listen up.
Charles Barkley. It's a wannabe who looks like him.
All right. There we go. Real quick, Bulls and Bucks. Oh, boy, this is going to be a bloodbath. Vinny, what's your prediction for the Bulls and Bucks series? Starts this weekend.
Bring out Jade.
Gonna be over.
Over in 4?
Oh yeah.
I will second that. Over in 4 to the Bucks. Greg, what about you?
Yeah, I'll go with you guys. That was my initial thought. So
it's gonna be screwed. It's gonna be. You know what? I'm glad they're back in relevance. I'm glad it's exciting to watch them, albeit it hasn't been for the last month because they've been so bad. Hopefully next season will be better. We'll build off that. But here's to brighter and better future for the Bulls.
Shout out to the Chicago Bulls for keeping me and us entertained during the lockout. I will say that. So because it was fun to watch basketball.
And DeMar DeRozan for being a beast. All right, it is time for whatever.
Now it's time for whatever.
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 Whatever you want. Whatever I want.
Whatever, dude. Irrelevant.
Whatever, dude.
All right. So before I hand the keys over to Greg, this week it is a 1 full year anniversary of our first show, Baseball and Whatever. I believe the first episode was titled Baseball and the Snyder Cut /PS5. We do have a clip from the very first minute of the very first broadcast. Vinny, let's show the people how much we've changed.
Show them the clip? How am I supposed to show them?
Play them the clip. Sorry.
That's Greg. We are the hosts of our new podcast here. We're starting out. I guess this would be our inaugural season in terms of baseball. This is the Baseball and Whatever podcast. And pretty much the way this came about is, I can't speak for Greg, but I'm a Cubs fan. He's a Sox fan, and I absolutely hate my team right now. They're playing like garbage. And I know Greg's got some thoughts on the White Sox and some Cubs thoughts, which is great. And then the whatever part is just whatever we're kind of feeling that week. I think this week we're going to talk about PS5. We're both really big gamers, and we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut. We're also big comic book fan, or I shouldn't say comic book fans, but comic book movie fans. I'm more of a DC guy. I think Greg is you're more Marvel, right? But well, Batman. I know you like Batman, but
see, Batman's always my number one. But the Marvel movies I love. And that's because Snyder's kind of ruining DC. I'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
All right, so that was our first minute of our very first show. I apologize for the audio quality. I did not start saving our episodes for posterity until episode 30, so I had to play that off of YouTube and record it via QuickTime. Greg, this is your segment. What do you got for us?
Well, I got to
in addition to reacting to that clip.
Really, right. I must say, I must sound the same right now as I do in that clip. And it's funny because none of that is intentional. My tech, if you can see right here, this is my tech right now. We got my secondary monitor, no signal, obviously, because that's going on with my laptop right now.
And I was going to say, you probably have the most expensive mic out of all of us, and you're not even getting to use it right now.
Nope, not even. See, this is my lovely mic right here. I've upgraded since then, so
look at that.
Yeah, unable to use it. It's right, just literally paperweight right now. There we go, right there on the paper. If you're watching on YouTube.
So I don't know, Greg. Do you want me or Vinny, one of us? Do you want us to run through the outline of things you had written down? Because I'm sure you can't pull it up on your phone.
I cannot pull it up on my. I mean, I could, but I'll lose you guys on Zoom.
No, it's all right.
If you remember, my first, so episode 1 was definitely my first, swing at podcasting. And I couldn't, number one, you can't understand a damn thing I was saying because I was mumbling and because I didn't know what I was talking about. And I was new to everything and my technology sucked and it still sucks. So That was number one. But yeah, if you remember too, that I thought Carlos Rodon threw a perfect game during the recording, which he did not. He in fact threw the no hitter or the toe hitter. So I was also wrong, as long as being very green on my first ever podcast. So that was that. But I figured we could revisit the Carlos Rodon no hitter or toe hitter with a little bit of blast from the past.
Sure.
I had the White Sox lineup up, but now I am unfortunately unable to read it, but I will do it the best from memory. But Vinny's our blast from the past guy now. He's kind of taking that over.
He is.
So, Vinny, I know we had the visiting Cleveland Indians at the time, now Guardians, obviously. So do you kind of want to kick it off with their starting lineup for April 14th, 2021?
Why not? Cleveland Indians starting lineup, batting first, playing center field, Jordan Luplow. Batting second,
now on the Diamondbacks,
Cesar Hernandez. Batting third, playing third, Jose Ramirez. At DH, Framil Reyes. And batting fifth, playing left field, Eddie Rosario. At shortstop, batting sixth, Ahmed Rosario. Batting seventh, playing right field, Josh Naylor. Is that right, Greg?
Naylor, yeah. Naylor, yep.
Batting eighth at catching, Roberto Perez. And batting ninth, playing first base, Yu Chang. And Zach Plesac got the start.
A lot of those guys are gone now. One of them ended up being a White Sox later that year. So
yeah, Cesar Hernandez. And Eddie Rosario was on the World Series team.
Yes, he was. Roberto Perez is on the Pirates now, and he's the one that got hit by Rodon, I think, that kind of broke up the perfect game.
The toe ball.
I still thought it was the toe ball. I think he's the one that got hit.
Yes, he was hit by pitch. Details.
All right.
Yep.
Hit by pitch. There we go. All right, for the White Sox lineup. Well, the final score was 8-0, right?
Yes, it was.
Do I have that right? Okay, so for the White Sox lineup, I'm trying to do this from memory, and I just looked at it now, but I barely looked at it. So I'm sure we had Anderson leading off. Robert.
Nope.
No. Oh no. Oh God. I give up. I don't.
You hate this guy.
I can't
shouldn't say you hate him, but you did not. You were very upset when he was brought back to the team.
Oh, Adam Eaton leading off in right. That's
there you go.
Right.
Adam Eaton.
All right, Luis Robert in center. Jose Abreu at first. Who's hitting cleanup? Oh, Yohan Moncada was hitting cleanup then at third, which I also made a comment about, and I didn't understand why. Would have been Yermin at DH.
A tough one.
Adam Engelin, right?
Adam playing right field. You already had him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Never mind. I'm all mixed up. Andrew Vaughn in left?
He played left, but he did not bat sixth.
Oh, God. Was it Nick Williams?
No.
No? Go ahead and tell me, Vinny.
Catching and batting sixth, Zach Collins.
Oh, God. Don't miss him. Heard Toronto's already sick of him.
I know. That's
so would be Andrew Vaughn in left?
Yep.
Nick Madrigal would have been batting ninth, playing second base. So that means Leori would have been at short, batting eighth, right? Okay, there we go. Made it through. It was a struggle, but made it through. So, yeah, infamously, I thought it was a perfect game. I said it live on the podcast and was very much wrong, but still a no-hitter, great accomplishment. I mean, one of the highlights. Carlos Rodon had a hell of a year, and we could be using him right now to tell you the truth. He would have been a nice piece in that rotation, despite what Bruce Levine may have said. What did he say? 44 million reasons not to have him back on the White Sox or something? That was
absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh. Anything else on that, guys?
I got nothing on that one. I just remember us being so excited that, wow, our first podcast and there's a perfect game. And then we end and it's like, it wasn't a perfect game.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of started off the power of the podcast, I think, because we have been very successful in, mentioning something or predicting something and then it coming to fruition or coming true or something like that. So, what a great, and Rodon, I think he had a great first start too in San Francisco where he struck out like 12 people in 5 or 6 innings or something. So
you're right.
That was a really good start. I do miss him. But I mean, it is what it is. And we're kind of hurt right now with our starting pitching, but that was definitely a memorable moment for our first episode for sure. So,
all right. Greg's next thing that he wanted to touch on, he said, "Oh, how the tables have turned. Justin has his PS5, but now Greg doesn't have one." So I know when we first started, the PlayStation 5 was damn near impossible to find. And I was on a mission to buy one before my daughter was born, because then I knew I would not buy one after that. Because now I have games and I don't have time to play them. Greg, any games you want to mention? Any things about the PS5?
It's just funny how that happened, because now I am without mine. Not that I was playing it that much anyways, but me and technology lately, I'm just gonna say it hasn't been my
apparently not my friend tonight.
Because that went bad. I mean, as you can see, been podcasting a year now, and I am here on my phone. It's all my technology in front of me fails.
Going back
but yeah. So, speaking of blast from the past, but I just thought how that was funny, Justin. We were looking for a PS5 for you, our first episode, and now I'm waiting for mine to be repaired. So, haven't played in a while, but you are enjoying yours, and you got it from Sony Direct.
I did. I got in that line, and I managed to get it. And I know you did have on here that I was lukewarm on Spider-Man Miles Morales. I was very hot on Demon Souls and Ratchet and Clank. And I would say probably those are 3 of the best games I have on PlayStation 5 right now. Spider-Man Miles Morales, it started off a little slow for me, but I think that's one of my favorite PS5 games now. So that's excellent. Ratchet and Clank is phenomenal. Demon Souls is great. I've kind of hit a wall. I've put like about 20 hours into it and I can't get any further. So I have to reevaluate what I'm going to do with that. But that was good. You also said your favorites from a year ago were Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and still that many others that you have not played a ton of from that list. So have you beaten either one of those or played any more of those?
No, sir. Black Ops Cold War is probably still in the same state as we left it a year ago. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a great game. I got to get back into that. And I have that for the PS4 technically, so I could just be playing that. Sure. Vinny, I know you're a big Assassin's Creed guy. I know you appreciate those games. And oh man, if I could win you a Xbox or PlayStation 5 in a sweepstakes or something, I would send that over to your address, because I think you would really love that game. So
I would, but
it is a ton of fun.
It would be on my backlog because I would have no time to play it.
I know that feeling.
That is true. That is what.
Sorry.
I feel like
amateur.
I feel like it's either my decision making comes either catching up on sleep or playing video games, and sleep has won out a lot recently. So yeah. That's where I'm at.
Well, you're also you're a father now, Judd. We got 2 new babies since we began this podcast. So, I mean, all this recreational stuff is few and far between when it comes to video games or just doing anything that isn't.
The podcast comes first,
duties, I think.
Instead of video games at this point.
Always have
crazy.
Time for that. Yep.
Yes.
That is for sure. So.
Greg also wanted to know my thoughts on the DualSense controller for PS5. Since I have one now, it's fine. People went crazy about how different.
I don't know why we. Yeah. why were we even talking about it the first episode? I can't remember.
Because people were out of their minds about what a big change it was. It's not really that different. So, I mean,
it's cool and everything.
The triggers have tension in them. That's neat, but it's another DualShock, if you ask me.
That's actually starting to get old.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Games you were looking for, Greg, you were looking forward to was Pokemon Snap and Cyberpunk 2077. How are you feeling about either one of those? What's that, Vinny?
Not age well.
No, it did not.
Cyberpunk one.
No. So, Pokemon Snap, I bought and I played a couple times because I thought my kids would be really into it, or at least my oldest daughter would. Yeah, she wasn't.
Oh.
And it's been sitting over there ever since. So,
okay.
Cyberpunk, I know we were super excited for.
Yeah.
And that just never. I mean, look at us a year later, and it's still probably in the same state.
I think it's like $4.99 now.
I was just going to say that I did pick it up several months ago for $5 from Target, and now it has the free PS5 upgrade, which is also a huge file size. But I tweeted at you a couple of weeks ago, Justin, because it was $5 again.
Yes,
and I was like, "Is this enough to make it happen?" But
I got so many other games I still got to play. Yeah, I don't have the time.
So you're completely out on that until someone literally gives it to you for free. So,
yeah, and but if it comes in a case with a paper, it comes in a paper cover case, I'm going to throw it back at him.
Oh boy,
it does come in a paper cover.
Oh,
just so you
son
know,
of a bitch! I don't want it.
If you see that big yellow one up there, it's in its paper. Paper.
All right, I'm out.
Instead of throwing it out, just give it to me. Give it to me so I have a backup, just in case that one gets ruined. So
fair enough. We also talked about,
and we were gonna do like weekly check-ins on that too. That never happened.
We can. It's just gonna be a lot of the. Did you get to play anything? Nope. And that's gonna be all it is.
Yep. I like that.
You also had your precursor game to start the video game backlog was The Witcher 3. Greg, have you played any of The Witcher 3 since then?
Nope.
Okay.
Sitting right over there too. I know you can't see, but it's over there.
The other main topic of our first episode was the initial release of the Snyder Cut on HBO Max of the Justice League, and I was high and mighty, very hot on that. Vinny has not seen it. I have hope. I think he's going to watch it tonight, though. After the podcast, I'm thinking he's nodding his head.
I'll be up till what? What is it now? I'll be
11 now.
2 o'clock?
No, it's 4 hours, Vinny.
Oh boy.
Greg,
I'll put a pot of coffee on.
Just keep it coming.
Right.
Greg, what's your obviously my final take? I think since the new Batman movie has come out, my status of the Snyder Cut has gone down a little bit because it doesn't hold a candle to the Batman. What's your final take on Snyder Cut?
No, I completely agree. We live in a different world now where the Batman has come out and it's completely changed the perspective. I did finish the Justice League, which we went over, or the Snyder Cut Justice League that we went over 2 episodes ago.
Yes, I think you're right.
And I did give it its moment. I did give it its praise for the second half. I thought, okay, it was fine. I see what they were doing. It was much better than that theatrical BS.
Yeah.
But with the Batman coming out, and Vinny, we got to get you an HBO Max login.
April 19th or April 18th?
It's April 18th, next Monday, isn't it?
I think so.
It's going to be on HBO Max, and I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna get that Snyder Cut off my queue and add the Batman. So it's just a different, totally different. I'm coming at it from excellent. A totally different place right now after seeing some quality filmmaking. No offense, Snyder. But yeah, that's where. But yeah, I think I made it through part 2 or halfway through part 2 when we first recorded a year ago on our first episode, and I kept my promise and made it all the way through. So
excellent.
That's all I really have to say. Yeah, second half wasn't bad, but yeah, it was.
First half's a little slow.
It is at 4 hours long. Maybe we'll get Maybe we'll get Vinnie to watch it by year 2. We'll give him another. We're like Norton, we'll give him another month or a year to think it over.
Yeah.
So in the shoe.
Just watch the Batman, Vinnie. Watch the Batman. That's all I ask.
Okay, I'll
that you definitely got.
I don't think we don't have to twist his arm or do anything crazy to get him to do that. No.
We'll get him. We'll get him an HBO Max login.
One of our segments that we started over the summer was Question of the Week, and Greg, you were asking whatever happened to Question of the Week.
Yeah, whatever did happen.
I'll be honest.
We just stopped doing it, right?
Once my summer vacation ended, I did not have time to make those little videos anymore on top of everything else. Summer's coming up, so maybe we'll do that. I think it was fun. It was a good way to get people a little idea of what we're going to talk about, but we've also started making, GIFs and quick video clips and just throwing those on Twitter too. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody
involved a little bit.
What's that, Vinny?
Segment. I don't even remember
It was literally 2 videos. I was looking through our feed on Spreaker and I was like, should I just remove these because they're like 30, 45 seconds long, but I left it. So, another thing we did for E3, if you're not familiar with E3, that's a big video game convention that takes place the first week or second week of June. E3 has officially been canceled this year. There will be no E3, but when we were just starting the podcast, Greg and I were really excited. So we did E3 reaction videos where we took cuts of the trailer and then had our commentary over it. The first one was a disaster, though, because it did not sync up to the actual video.
That's hilarious.
And I remember it was a Battlefield 2042. Which maybe was an omen for how that game was going to come out because it's a piece of trash.
Exactly.
But I remember we did that.
I think our reaction went better than the game.
I think it did.
So.
And I remember trying to edit the reaction so it lined up. And I was working on it for an hour, but something was wrong with iMovie and it wouldn't sync up right. And I'm like, screw it, put it up. And then I think I got a text from Vinny like the next day or that night. He's like, so I was watching and you guys are like, oh, damn. And then I'm like, what? It's just a bunch of people running. And then like 10 seconds later was like this tank blowing up or them jumping off a cliff or something. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't sync up. So, maybe we'll see if there's any big video game stuff coming up. I would love to do more video game stuff, but I also know that, some of the people that listen don't care about video games. So if you are interested in video games, let us know. We can always work more of that in. Shout out to Pretzel Vince, our one and only live contributor, in-person contributor when he showed up at Greg's house, unannounced, I like to think, but and wanted to be on the podcast.
For a bear segment.
For the bear segment, yeah. So any of our friends that are listening, anybody who wants to drop in, let us know. I know I was talking to one of our friends about Jaws a couple months back. I'd love to have him come on and tell us all about his love for Jaws. Vinny, before we get to our final guest and thank them and then call it a night, Vinny, the second episode was when we brought you on once we knew this thing wouldn't burn and catch on fire. What was your take on being on a podcast for the first time?
I was nervous. Oh my God. Yeah, I was freaking out that entire week building up to it.
Even though it's just us?
Well, yeah, I didn't know. I just was freaking out. But yeah, I had to come up with something so you guys.
You had your trivia. That's right.
Yeah, I had to come up with something great so you guys would just keep me on. So I've been writing that that first episode. Yeah, I've been writing that for a year now.
Was that the Bill Parcells draft trade system or whatever? That was cool.
That was great.
And we got the draft coming up again, so
yeah. I'm not going to be doing that again.
I was going to say, Vinny's got his what's hot, what's not segment. We're good now.
Right, yeah.
and all the blasts from the past he does. So,
right.
Which I don't know which one of you guys came up. That was another segment I thought was awesome. And I would love to do those. Maybe this summer I can do one. But if you haven't listened to any of our blasts from the past, both Vinny and Greg have taken former Bears games, White Sox games. I think that's it, right? Bears and White Sox.
I did a couple baseball ones, and then Vinny just took off with it with the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears stuff was great. So
that was
and
fantastic.
Ideally it's just like 10 minutes or less. So they kind of tell you a certain game in history and tell you what happened. And with the Bears, it's usually horrible losses, which I find hilarious. So
but then you hear the names of those awful players, and you're like, God, I remember. Oh man, that guy played quarter. Chad Hutchinson was quarterback for the Bears. That's right. Oh God, yeah, he was awful.
He sucked. So, real quick though, special thanks to all of our first year guests. Holy cow! We had Joe Darlington, author and podcaster of the book and podcast series Being James Bond. I remember Greg reached out to him. It was our 3rd episode, and he's like, yeah, I'll come on your show. And I remember Greg and I were literally freaking out.
Yes, that is definitely the most nervous I've been. Probably one of the only few times, like Vinnie said, the first episode, I definitely was nervous.
Yeah.
And when I first had him on, I was like really sweating. So it went pretty well though. So
he was great. He was a great interview for our first interview, I think, just because he was so low key and mellow and just kind of helped us out. So Joe, if you're listening, thank you very much. Then we went on, we had Bill Koenig from the Spy Command, which was a phenomenal interview. Bill talked to us all about the 60s Batman and how that changed over time when we got to Michael Keaton Batman. We worked in a little bit of some football talk at the end as well. Bill's awesome. He's just a great guy. So that was a lot of fun. And again, that was only our second interview. So I feel like we were still learning. Not that we know what we're doing now, because I will admit I have no clue. But I feel like we were still learning our way. So Bill, thank you for that. Mike from the Quack Attack podcast I listen to about the Mighty Ducks. There's no mistake. I love Mighty Ducks. He was great to talk about both the movies, the new series on Disney, which as more time goes by, I think less and less of that series. And now that Emilio has left, I really don't know if I'm going to tune in at all. I'll be honest. I don't know.
So is it in its second season then? Or?
It's starting its second season. Yes.
Starting its second season. Okay.
Apparently he left due to creative differences. He did not like the way the direction the show was going. And he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So he left. But there's talk that Joshua Jackson, Charlie Conway himself, will make a reappearance, but I'll believe it.
I thought he wasn't going to.
Yeah, I didn't think he was either, but then now apparently there's a chance. We'll see. But so thank you to Mike. This was a big one for me. Andrew Reiner, editor-in-chief and writer since, damn near the beginning of Game Informer magazine, came on. Huge Cubs fan, huge baseball fan. It was so cool to talk to him as somebody who has read Game Informer my entire life and listened to his podcasts. And I don't know. I absolutely love that interview. He was a great guy. I saw he reached out and said congrats to us on making it a 1 year. So did Mike as well. And I believe Bill did too. So Andrew Reiner, we got to have him on again. I know obviously he's a little busier now since he's been editor-in-chief of the magazine. Then we also had my buddy from grade school and Little League, Chris came on, talked to us about what it was like to work for a Major League Baseball team as a White Sox team member. So that was really cool. It was really neat to see the behind the scenes players he met. He was really big into talking about, was it Justin Verlander and
Kate Upton.
Yeah. Kate Upton, about meeting them in the restaurant and stuff like that. So that cracked me up. Chris, thank you. He is a consistent feedback lever, commenter, writer-inner. That's not a word, but so thank you, Chris. Shayla Miller from Sweet. I'm making up shit as I go now.
Nice.
Shayla Miller. See, this is why it's your segment, Greg. This is why this is your segment. Shayla Miller.
I would do it, but I can't.
You can't see. And no, I understand.
I don't have good screens here.
All good. Shayla Miller from Sweet Time with Shayla and Chelsea, great YouTube channel. She came on to do Consider Them Slimed, I believe, with you.
Yeah, the first Slimed 5 we did ever on the podcast. We did 5 random James Bond movies, and that sort of evolved. I know we've used that same style for It's Always Sunny and everything, and probably more down the line. So that was kind of the first.
I think we need to. Shayla's awesome on Twitter. We might need to just have her on a regular episode. I know she's a real big music fan. She has told us about bands to listen to. So Shayla, if you're listening, we need to figure out a way we can have you on and we can discuss or do a countdown with you. We also had Michael Finney, author, documentarian, filmmaker of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. It was great to learn more about our Chicago history with the World's Fair and H.H. Holmes. Check that out if you're into books like The Devil in the White City. Michael, thank you so much. I know he reached out to us on Twitter. Jeff from the Disney on the Rocks podcast also congratulated us. Jeff is an awesome guy. We had him on to rank top 5 Disney movies. Does that sound right? That were not animated or not Pixar. Was that it?
Not Pixar.
So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So Jeff, we got to have you on again. Jeff's also a big Mets fan. It was great to have him on. Greg took this next one. Jared Dial, head baseball coach of Hayti High School down in Missouri. I believe that's what they call it down there. Jared, if you're listening, let us know. That was great to get some feedback, get some ideas of what's going on in high school baseball. And I mean, I know, Greg, you still keep in touch with him, right? A little bit.
We talk shop sometimes on Twitter. I know I mentioned the other week he's having a little bit of trouble, with his athletes in the school program, but he's still going strong. So wishing Coach Dial all the best at Haiti over there. So in Missouri.
Down in Missouri. Then we had Jack Lugo. Jack has been an incredible support system for us on the podcast, host of JBR and the Bond and Banter podcast. If you haven't listened to Greg's take on what character were you, Greg?
Oh, that would be Willard White. We appeared on the same show.
Check out their show. Check out Jack's podcast to hear Greg discuss Willard White. But Jack came on. We talked about the 86 Mets documentary, the 30 for 30, which was a phenomenal documentary. And just learning about the 80s Mets in general was great. So we'll have to have Jack on again. Recently, we had Sam Wiederhaft on from the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. He is their lead broadcaster and public relations, I believe. No, not public relations.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it?
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah. Their season just started. It's been great to see the Pelicans off to a good start. Sam was awesome. We got to talk to him about all things Pelicans. And then probably the two of the biggest ones, Vinnie spreading his reach on this one because he's rubbing shoulders with the big guns. Perry Marasevich, did I say that right? Marosevich. Damn it. Former MLS forward. It was so cool to talk to a real professional athlete. And he was so nice.
Our first one.
Yeah.
And he told us how good Vinny was at soccer.
Not good at all.
Yeah, we got
Just go along with it, Vinny.
He gave us the honest scouting report. So
yes, Perry was awesome, and to learn what he's doing with U.S. soccer right now. Is it the development stuff is based out of Chicago, isn't it? So he's living in Chicago, I believe.
Yep.
So that was great. Check that out.
Shout out to Vinny too for spearheading that on his own. We just sat back and relaxed for that one. Just had fun at the end. So
I just tried to I think he mentioned Thierry Henry, and I was like, hey, I know that guy. I can ask a question about that. So no, it was awesome. Perry was awesome. We'll have to have him on again. And then probably one of the biggest ones for me was recently we had Jason frickin' Kendall, former MLB All-Star catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chicago Cubs, Oakland A's,
Pittsburgh Pirates,
yes,
right,
and Milwaukee Brewers. Holy cow! What a nice guy. I still can't believe that we got to talk to him. Yeah, Jason, if you're listening, I know he said we can reach out to him anytime to have him on again. So I'm sure we'll bug him pretty soon to get his feedback on the start of the season. But I don't know what. And then lastly, before I turn it over to you guys and we wrap up, Jay Kahn, guest on here twice. I know he already said he's willing to come on again a third time to talk about the kickoff to the Blue Jays season. Sirius XM, the fantasy hockey show, and co-host of The Point with Boomer on Sirius XM. Jake might be one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Like he is the definition of Canadian nice. Like
absolutely.
Holy cow. I just remember our first interview with him, and I had met him through another podcast, and I remember he got off the Zoom call and you guys were just like, he is such a nice guy. Like, and I'm like, yeah, he's just so friendly and wanting to talk shop about. We did top 5 sports movies with him, and I think we did top 5 logos, top 5 jerseys. Logos, yeah.
I think we did logos. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I guess, do you guys have any stories, anything you want to share about guests, topics we've done that you really enjoyed, what you want to do for season 2 of baseball and whatever going forward? Don't answer all at once.
No, I was gonna let Vinny go first.
Oh God, no. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, so like I said, for the when Joe Darlington was our first guest, when I reached out to him, I got a hold of his email somewhere on the Being James Bond website. And I was just like, hey, what the hell? I've listened to this guy for several years. He's one of the pioneers of podcasting. Actually, he was doing it way before it was, a big thing like it is now, before pretty much everyone's doing it. So just like, what the hell? I've been listening to him. He seems like a nice guy. And sure enough, he emailed me back, hours later, and he said, yeah, I'll come on for a segment. So I, texted you guys right away. I'm like, oh my God, he said yes. And we're looking him up. He's like, oh, he's actually got a followership on Twitter and everything. I mean, we never got that retweet, but still holding out hope. But he came on. He was nice enough to join us. We talked GoldenEye, and I think that's what kind of gave us our kind of like a little more encouragement to go out and seek out more.
It was when it wasn't a complete shit show, and we didn't sound awful, and we actually it was a great discussion. Yeah. I think that really got us to think. I remember we made that spreadsheet of people we wanted to reach out to, and some people got back to us right away. Some people didn't. And I think as our following grows, not to say that it's growing a ton, but I mean, when you look at some of our following on Twitter now and stuff and download size, it's who knows what the future holds. So I'm excited to see, if you would have told me a year ago that we would have met all these people that are across the country and some of them are very famous and really we have no right talking to, I would have said that's not going to happen, but it's crazy how this is going. Well, so
yeah, and I think we've reached like milestones too with our guests. Like when you got Andrew Reiner on, Justin, I think that was huge.
That I was flipping out.
Right. And then when we got Perry on, obviously, with some of our Twitter friends in between who were nice enough to come on, and then landing Jason Kendall most recently.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just, if you think about it, within a year doing this, especially coming from having no idea, Justin, you were probably the most experienced and still are.
I had a couple weeks. That was it. But, well, yeah. And even like with Jay Kahn, like I, for the last 7-8 years driving around to work in the morning or in the afternoon, I'd be listening to the recap of his shows. And then now I'm talking to this guy on a regular basis on Twitter and interviewing him. And it just, I really can't say enough. If there is someone out there that's listening, that's like, yeah, I'd like to do this myself and try this. Like, you won't know how it goes until you do it. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have told me we've made it a year, I would have said, we'll probably burn out after like 2 or 3 months. But the fact that like, I don't know about you guys, I still get so excited when it's Thursday because I know I'm A, going to get to talk to you guys, and B, we're going to have fun. And it's getting to see the feedback from people that, leave us comments on Twitter or Facebook. And granted, obviously we want to expand that and get more, but it's been great to see. So yeah. Vinny, what about you?
Well, that's so.
Okay. I'm sorry, Greg, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I still don't have the hosting thing down though.
No, that's okay. Well, I'm also probably like 2 seconds behind, lagging on my phone right over here. So
that's all right.
No, I'll let Vinny go.
You really just put me on the spot here. I don't know what to say. No, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely not nearly as nervous as I was that first time. I just remember that first time still, like, just, oh my God, I gotta speak on a microphone. I gotta sound like I know what I'm doing. Now I'm just like, I don't have to sound like I know what I'm doing.
No, that's part of the appeal.
Right? Yeah, I know, right? It's
what is this, amateur hour?
It's amateur hour here on this podcast. It always will be because that's what makes it fun. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I definitely look forward to Thursdays. I don't look forward to Friday morning.
No.
But
as I look at the clock right now, I'm like, shit.
Right. But no, this has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what we do in the future with this. I've been having a ball with it, and hopefully we don't ever feel like this is a job, because once that happens, it will be the end of our podcast most likely. Because at that point it won't be fun.
But I mean, if someone wants to pay us money and make this our job,
well,
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Won't complain. So
no, you're right.
But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for letting me join you on this ride since I wasn't on the first episode. So, yes, thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah, I remember like just the first episode, I'm like, I don't want to bother Vinny because I know he's very busy and tax season was starting to wrap up, and I'm like, I
was sitting here at my desk in this exact spot working that night because I remember I was texting Greg about the game, and he wasn't like texting me back, and I'm just like Rodon's gonna get a no-hitter,
and he's not answering,
and he's not responding. And then I think like it was I was like, oh my, like I sent something like, oh man, he got hit in the toe, I can't believe they blew the perfect game, or something like that. It was, and
well, I should I should have looked at my phone, Vinny, because you would have saved me from making an ass of myself day one. So. Now I'm used to doing it every episode, but I should have.
It's not only encouraged; it's required, Greg.
Yeah.
I remember when the episode came up and you guys told me about it, so I listened to it and then I heard Greg say, "Oh, it was a perfect game," and I was like, "No, you idiot! No, it wasn't
a perfect game." Yeah, I think when we stopped recording, Justin, I'm like, oh wait, it's a no-hitter. Whoops. So
you know what? You can't peak too quickly. You got to let people know what they're getting into. So
right, yeah, you gotta build up. You can't be on the top of the mountain because he only goes down from there. So, but I still managed to slope down miraculously.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been so exciting. Even I remember, when we were in talks with, Belly Up Sports has been great to work with them and some of the stuff they've given us access to and stuff like that. And I remember, talking with them on being on a conference call to, get under contract with them. And I'm like, holy cow, like what even is our lives right now doing this on the side? And then obviously, you guys coming up with ideas for drops instead of us just saying, hey, we're going to talk about this now. And like, that has been so fun for me to try and put all that together. I absolutely love it. It's been great to add this to like our career stuff, even though it's more of a side hustle, but, it's awesome. The future is endless. We'll see what happens. I hope we are here to celebrate anniversary number 2 next year in April. Who knows what the hell we'll be doing then? I don't know. So I don't know. Any final, Greg, I know you had something else you want to say before I cut you off. Any final comments?
No. I just wanted to say, I just wanted to touch on the point you made about listening to Jake Hahn on Sirius XM. And then, during COVID and everything, how, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't see anyone. So everyone took to, media, social media, all that sort of stuff. And that's when I discovered the James Bond community that existed on Twitter. I thought I was the only one. No, I'm not even close.
Oh, no.
And that forged, meeting new people, albeit online, but developing new friendships and then making connections, which is a huge part of what we've done on this podcast. And finding, just for Bill and Jack, to be instance, I've listened to those guys for several years. And now, I think it's safe to say we can call them, friends.
Yeah.
And just discovering what other interests we have in common. I mean, knowing Jack loves baseball and everything, Bill's got an amazing knowledge just about anything and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, in anything, he knows something about. So it's been really neat because it's made us, I think, better too at what we do. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Vinny, any closing remarks about the show, about the future?
No, I think I said it all.
You got it all? All right. I want to see if I can put you on the spot one more time, but okay.
Thanks, Justin.
No problem. All right. Well, for those of you that have stuck around for a year, thank you so much to our family. I remember at first I just assumed it would be our spouses and parents that listen to this as more of a pity listen. And clearly that is not
which is still the majority, to be fair. Still the majority.
You don't need to know that.
It doesn't even give us a pity listen.
Well, nowhere to go but up. But no, and like I think Greg, you nailed it. To meet people online that we now consider, friends or we're friendly with, and talk to people all over the country from different walks of life. It's so cool to get different dynamics of, if you would have told me we'd get to know Jeff from the Disney podcast or, Shayla, I believe Shayla's from Nova Scotia. Like I wouldn't, besides Jake Hahn. I don't know anyone from Canada. So it's been so cool to get to know them. Sam is the Myrtle Beach Pelicans broadcaster. I mean, it's just so cool. So I can't stress this enough. If you want to try something new, figure it out or mess around with it until it doesn't break. That's kind of what we've done. It still breaks a lot, but have fun. That's the most important thing. So we will end this nostalgic love fest for ourselves now. Thank you so much for listening to 51 freaking episodes of Baseball and Whatever, 99 different videos and pieces of content. This will be the 100th piece of content on YouTube. Go on YouTube, search Baseball and Whatever, add us, subscribe, like our videos to help us out. If you're on any of the podcast networks, Apple and Spotify in particular, give us a 5-star review. That would really help us. Feel free to shoot into the text line, 913-808-3278. That number again is 1913-808-FART. And then Tweet us at baseball and what, Instagram at baseball and whatever, facebook.com/baseball and whatever, baseball and whatever at gmail.com, baseball and whatever podcast at bellyupsports.com, Apple, Spotify, Google, Anchor, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Addict, Overcast, all those places you can find us. Subscribe, help us grow this thing, get in on the ground floor after year one is over with. I'm thinking we'll have a new theme song for the intro next week. We'll see. We'll switch things up. Thank you all for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you next week on Baseball and Whatever. See you later, guys.
Goodbye.
Take care.